Hey, Google, stop. What's up, everyone? This is Harold Sullivan, the Sullivan Project Podcast. Yep, I have a camera difficulty. Jesus. Trials and tribulations, but we will get it. Ugh. The table is a little bit oily there. Jesus, Lord. All right. Hey, Google, turn your volume to 50%. Hey, Google, what time is it?
It's 4:01 p.m.
All right, got a little bit different music there. Hopefully y'all could hear that. I've been blind a little over 2 years. In case some of you haven't tuned in before, I was born with an autoimmune disease, and I haven't been able to walk. I've been in a wheelchair since I was young, probably 8, 9 years old. Uh, but this podcast is about, this is for everyone about everything. And everyone has a story. You can't judge a book by its cover. So we come on here. We sometimes I have guests. We do audio or video. And if you want to be on here, uh, or if you have any comments or anything, and we do appreciate shares, likes, whatever, follows. You can contact the Sullivan Project Podcast, Harold Sullivan 78 on YouTube, Harold Sullivan 78 TikTok, Harold Sullivan period 35 on Facebook. And you can call the show 724-513-1472. No judgment here. And we talk about spiritual, metaphysical, supernatural, paranormal, also movies, TV, games, just entertainment, sports, wrestling, food, just whatever. Just a casual place to come on. So I've been having difficulties a couple of weeks here, a month or so. I don't like to get on and complain. I don't want to complain at all. Uh, and feeling sad is like the lowest frequency of fear. And so I'm trying to keep it up. We all have to keep our frequency high. Love is the highest, so we can keep connected to source and have a stronger connection, and we'll heal better and get through day by day easier. So, but I do have just some things just to vent out. It's okay to vent, you know what I mean? As long as it's calmly and whatever, and you're not hurting people. So we're gonna call this episode UPMC sucks. Anyways, but I had a couple podcasts I was gonna record. Oh, let's do some positive stuff. Montel Jordan, the legend, hip hop, R&B singer, now pastor, man of the Lord. He did a cameo, so go check out one of the social medias here for the Sullivan Project podcast. He answered some questions. Very great. Very good, man. Love to work with him anytime, Mr. Montel Jordan, sir. If you hear this, uh, contact me. You know. So I did. We did get that. So I was supposed to go hang out with Dan again. Having transportation problems with UPMC. So we did get to go out to dinner a few days ago. Dan was manic, terror, just oh my gosh. He's told me recently he has schizophrenia, so I'm not sure what. Since he was 16, I'm going to try to get him on here to do a story, but or do more of his details because he's afraid of people talking about this and that and about him. And I'm trying to say, hey, we all have our. We're here to testify. We got our testimony, and being a good Christian and all that, or being part of a Christian is letting others, hear what we got, what we've been through. Let testify. That proves the glory. We make it through stuff. If you don't tell people what you're making through, then how do they know? So, again, it goes back to you can't judge a book by its cover. We have no clue. You have no clue when you look at someone, or someone goes by, or whatever. You meet someone, what they've been through. But Dan, yeah, he was just so shaken so bad. He probably had at least 7 or 8 sodas again. Their diet, because he's diabetic. But the lady kept bringing him like we were at a bar. But we had some food. We went to Sal's Italian restaurant. I got a calzone to bring back and a cannoli. I like cannolis. I love them. They're lots of sugar though. And then I had some chicken fingers and fries while we were there. They were good. And Dan just ordered cheese sticks, and he just couldn't pay attention. He was just so nervous. He almost wasn't going to come. I ordered a van, or I got the van service to come and get me, and then go get Dan. And he wasn't answering the phone at the last minute. But luckily, he showed up outside his apartment building, and we got him, and we went. And so I made a reservation to go to church with him. Okay. Uh, and last week, I made two reservations with UPMC with two different companies, and they both canceled at the last minute the day before and didn't leave me any time to try to find another ride. Well, we were supposed to go to church here last night. There's a 7 to 8 p.m. in Ambridge, uh, and the van didn't come. I'm outside. It started to rain. I'm out there with a camera because and my phone and my vape and some stuff to donate to church. And I forgot when I went to see Greg, or went to hang out with him a couple months ago, which was the first time in a long time. But he had a cookout, so I got a van over there, van service. I forgot. I took the video over there, and I totally forgot to record the Greg on video just so y'all could see Greg because he doesn't have social media and all that. He doesn't do you know the videos, so he does audio over the phone here when we do it. But I just wanted to show just like I did with Dan. There's a short one with Dan and with Chris. So I'll have to get Greg again, but Greg and Dan were supposed to meet me at church yesterday in Ambridge, just one church. Well, my van never showed up. Uh, Luckily, the missed call was still on my phone, and my sister helped me dial it from a few days ago when that driver had called, and I was already going out to meet the van. So this guy calls. So we called this guy. First, they say they don't even have me in the trip, and then they say that the drivers broke down or something. It's just two stupid excuses. So anyway, I missed a ride again. Monday, I got to call up and file agreements again against another company. So because that's all they can say to do, file agreements. You just have, if they don't show up to pick you up. I mean, what else am I supposed to do? It's in there booked. It's a number. They give me a validation number. It's in my chart on with UPMC, and I got no trip. And medical is different because they don't seem to miss that. But if it's a social, they don't consider that important. Even if they book you, they just don't come sometimes. And then last, when Dan and I, when Dan when I first lost my sight in the second eye, and Dan started, we started going to church together. I stopped going for kind of one of the same reasons because the van service stopped picking me up, and even though I was on like a schedule for every day or every Saturday at the same time for a month, they let you put out like a month or two ahead of time. You could get on a plan that way you don't have to call in all the time. And they did no show 2, 3 times, like maybe 3 out of 4, and I was like, that ain't it. So I didn't make it to church again this week. And I just gotta just remember, have faith. Hey, there's something else in the car. Some reason I couldn't go again. So, and I hadn't been there in all over a year, more than that probably. So, but hey, man, I'm still here. I'm trying to pick it up. All these things just don't seem to be going positive lately, or just they are. It's positive, but I'm just not understanding right now how things are looking out. You just got to remember that there's so much more out there, and there's a bigger plan, and we have no clue. So things don't always go, and usually don't go the way we want or think they should. Yeah, but they work out better. So, uh, you know what I mean? Hey Google, what did I want you to remember? Oh, hey Google, stop. I gotta tell you. Yeah, so I tried to call Greg and Dan last night to tell them I wasn't coming to church a couple minutes to 7. I got back in here after they said, oh, we don't have a ride, we can't find one that quick. They had 40 minutes by the time I called them at 20 after 6 because nobody was here. And I was like, well, this is odd because they're usually here early. So I couldn't get a hold of Dan. Still haven't heard from him. And Greg's girlfriend or his wife, because they've been together longer than 7 years, I think. So it's common law, right? Their phones are both off. So I don't know if any of them made it. Nobody's calling me. I left a voicemail on Dan's phone saying what happened with the van, and I'll call him. So it's just terrible. So I was going to get a podcast doing testimony up at church in front of people, but that's okay. I got it all ready here. Maybe I'm supposed to do a podcast here with Chris soon, so maybe we'll do some church with Chris, and I'll talk a little bit of gospel. I need to do these things. I need to preach, or you know, if you want to call it that. But I just need to talk. I need to help. I want to help people. I want people to share their stories with me. It's amazing people's lives. Hey Google, what time is it?
It's 4:11 p.m.
Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, Angel Touch Squirrel.
Okay.
Second, WCW Freon and Face. Third, Orange Stan Montel.
Okay. So let me get to some other stuff. Angel touches. Okay. I've been feeling. I mentioned a couple podcasts ago that I've been waking up after I knock out sometimes with this psychic stuff that's been kicking in or whatever. And there's been the brightest light behind me. And still, a few times now I've noticed it. And then I tried to talk to it a few times to see if it would move or if there was any fluctuation. But no, it was just the brightest light behind me, literally. My hip is hurting, so I'm moving here. Uh, I think it's a nerve. It's what causes me so much pain. It's a nerve in there. Uh, Lord, my leg is going numb. But and then I want to let people know now. I've been having this field. This is a different field now. Now in the past, uh, I was into the paranormal. I knew way more. I knew about ghosts and all that way before angels and really before I was convinced of God and things. So, but whenever I had my paranormal things and even saw the spirit or the ghosts and that, which you could go check out on the YouTubes and that, I used to do paranormal videos and had a haunted apartment, a few haunted places before I figured out it was me. So, but anyway, spirits, ghosts when they touch you, okay. For me, it feels like hair on you, a hair going across you, a spider web on you, and there's nothing there. Now, this is a different kind of touch I've been getting lately, and it'll wake me up sometimes or whatever. And it literally is like something just trying to gently touch you or caress you, but it's like almost soft, but not almost squishy and soft. But there's no temperature, there's no weight, there's no pressure, but there almost is a pressure. Like I don't. It's so hard to describe. I can only describe it as like maybe an angel touch or a I don't know a it's not even a feather because you could feel a feather. It's just something, but it's enough to wake you up. And I've had it a few times, and I think last night I had it again. So in case anybody's experiencing this, let me know, or maybe that's what this is going on, and you have it going on too. Uh, so I don't remember if I mentioned this when I was young. I think I did mention it a while ago, but like the first time I was really away from home, my mom sent me to a physical rehabilitation place where they had me in the pool for like 8 hours a day. It was terrible, and I just didn't like water after that and before that because I think I drowned in a past life. And then I went to physical therapy when I was a teenager and almost drowned a few times in the pool. So, but that rehabilitation place, I was gonna say that was the first time I was away from home. I was like 8, 9, 10 years old, probably 10 years old. It was after a lot of them surgeries I had, and I don't even really what was it. I threw up all the time. Oh, there were so many different people there. That's what I wanted to explain because I want people to know how appreciate life. So, first of all, I wasn't allowed any soda except for when I came home on the weekends. I got to come home on the weekends. I was there for 4 weeks just to do therapy with my body and stuff and try to see what they could do, which really wasn't anything. I didn't want to be in no pool for 8 hours a day, you know. So I was in there. There was people in there that were 800 pounds out, just big people. I'm about to sneeze. Called Prager Willies, right? Oh boy. Jesus. Whoa. Uh, when they looked in the mirror, they saw themselves thin. So they would just eat, 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 eat. This is a real disease. There's lots of names for it. But I learned that back then. And they actually had a playground we had there was semi wheelchair uh, accessible because it had like a big ramp you could go up, and then it had this Indiana Jones type of bridge that went across. But I was not gonna go across in that wheelchair. That was scary as heck. Uh, and but it was cool just looking down. You know, I didn't. I was scared of the heights, but sometimes I just went up there just to try to clear my head. But I was scared. I just didn't like it. And I just didn't like. I just. But there was a lady there. I remember she used to say yuck all the time. And she was real nice though, and they treated her differently. People just had different symptoms. And I just didn't like that. But some of the people I think lived there or just were there for a long time, and we couldn't drink soda. And I threw up all the time because I was homesick and I didn't like the food. So I wanted to mention that it was first time away from home, just thrown into a place, you know. And so Freon, I want to mention this, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but when I had a caregiver a few years ago, right, she was chipping ice off of the inside of my mini fridge in my room behind me when I had one, a different one, and she hit something and this thing, all this cold air or whatever, shot in my face, and I don't remember it having a smell, and I don't know if Freon has a smell, but for like 30 seconds, and I didn't really move either. I didn't know what to make of it. I was just because I was losing my sight, so I just kind of sat there and took it. But I felt so sick after that a few days. I'm like, I don't know, but that might have been another time I could have been close to death there, and I somehow survived that. But just don't do that. Don't chip off the ice, put it outside to melt it or whatever. Even though those things are heavy, that's just not right. And I'd done that before, never had that happen. But that moment there, that particular person just did that. So chipped it right off. Huh, that's a shame too. And it ruined the fridge. I didn't have any. I had to put a bowl of ice with cans of pop to keep my stuff cold for a few days. Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, angel touch squirrel.
Hey
Second,
Google, delete the first
WCW.
one.
Done. It's forgotten.
WCW, The Death of WCW. I just finished that audio book. Uh, it's a good book. It's really long, 13, 14 hours. And it's a shame how many times they messed up, how much they messed up, and they sold the company for like only a couple $1 million, pretty much. After all that time, they could have beat McMahon. They could have. They had all the best wrestlers at one point. They were paying everybody paid contracts. They actually had. Uh, they were paying people to travel. They were buying all the tickets, even though people weren't even the wrestlers weren't even doing nothing that week or that show. They just, I don't know what, they just played around so much with the money, just wasted it. Basically, like a kid with candy, yeah. So, but it's a very good book. The audio book I just finished, but it's available in regular too. So, hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, WCW Freon and face.
Hey Google,
Second,
delete the
four stand.
first one.
Done. It's forgotten.
Okay, orbs. Oh yeah, I want to mention this. So I've been seeing them little colored lights that are blue and light and white lights just a flicker go by. Or that one day, like I said, I thought I saw my soul because I woke up and right as it was entering my body. I have sleep apnea and I stopped breathing. And when I went to sleep laying down one night, which happens all the time, and I astral project and I I have past lives I go back to and or I dream of and I fly down the street. I just do all kinds of things. It's amazing. But orbs now. Uh, take a picture. When you take pictures, and you get orbs. Try to zoom in. You may see a face. You may see symbols. Okay, and this is because people and certain things are able to project, and orbs may even be a consciousness or a soul. So, and it's crazy, but it's true. It's hard to say that, but it's true. So just think about that. And I didn't really believe in orbs in the past, but now I have a whole new understanding of them. You know, 90% of them are bugs or dust or whatever. But if you zoom in on an orb on a photo and you see a face in it, somewhere there was a body that went with that, possibly. Same with a image, a picture, or you know, a symbol. Could be a symbol. Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's Here's what you told me. First, Ward Stan Montel. Second, no clothes feet children of now a soul diverse
Hey
testicle.
Google,
Third,
delete the first one. No close orbs.
done.
Or
It's forgotten.
the end orbs one. Okay, now UPMC sucks. Let's go back to that. Hey Google, what time is it?
It's 4:21 p.m.
Okay, 20. Okay, let's go back to that before we got off of here. And I may have a Chris podcast later, and we'll talk with him soon. But I do love everybody, and love is a choice, and so is to hate. Let me leave that with people. That's the Sullyism. Uh, Spirit's given to me. I don't take credit for that or any of this really because a lot of this has just come to me over the last couple of years since I lost my sight. But yeah, UPMC. So I never asked for them. I had Gateway up until 5 or 6 years ago. One day I just got them. I never asked to switch over. They say somebody did it. I don't know. So I've had nothing but trouble with them. As you've heard, can't get transportations. They just don't show up, or they say they have me and they don't come, or just stupid things. And this has been going on. Uh, I believe Dr. Getz, if I had him back then. If not, it was Gateway, so what, it doesn't really matter. You see, insurance is insurance. The mixed diagnosed me with gout for 2 years, and I had a black toe, and I went to the foot doctor, and literally I had to drink vodka all day, every day, because it hurt so bad just sitting up. So I almost lost a toe, and here it was just a scratch that got infected, and because I let it go, because he said to let it go, I almost lost it. And the foot doctor, I went to see her for a second opinion, and she saved my toe and said it was just a scratch, but it got gangrene and got infected. And I've been going to get my toenails cut from her ever since because my toenails get cut long and then one rubs against the other toe, and that's how you get a scratch. If you don't do anything about it, he said I had gout. I'm like, Jesus, really? So I lost both parents on UPMC. My dad died of cancer. He had went and had things happen, surgeries, and they said he was fine. And then he was still having the pains, and a year or so later, apparently it was all through his whole body, and he died from it. They ate him out. The cancer did. After they said he was perfectly fine. Also, my mom, same thing with her a few times, and she pretty much just gave up and was on support at the end. And my sister had to make the decision, let her go. But she had water on her lungs or some different kinds of different things, and she had pneumonia for months in the hospital. And Swickly and
Sorry, I'm not able to help with
okay,
this one yet.
talking computer, Swickly and Medical Center, both of them, Beaver, just didn't know what to do. I mean, it was terrible how they negligence people. And then I lose my sight. 13 different doctors. Now the last doctor told me I had macular edema, retinal vein occlusion, uveitis, cataracts, glaucoma, and I was born with the or I had the uveitis since I was young, and stigmatism and farsighted. But all the rest of that, nobody could figure out until I'm blind. So if anybody can help with any of this or alternatives to help heal my eyes, or I don't know, everything happens for a reason. So I found God, or I started to listen actually after that and just let go more. Because God's always there. You just got to let Him in. You got to let go and let God, and have faith. And now I understand when people, they just say just have faith. And it's hard to explain how you just kind of have to have faith, and faith has to happen, or you just have to realize it, and then you can just have faith. But to actually just say have faith, I used to find that a shortcut when people would just be like, have faith. Well, explain to me how to have faith. That kind of just has to happen with time now, I've noticed, maturely. So, amen, though, that I'm having faith, and I can just let go, and whatever happens, just perfectly love everybody. You don't have to love, you don't have to like, but you should love unconditionally. And respond, don't react. Fight fire with water, just come at it, with love, no matter what. And I'll be back soon. Hopefully, we'll get some guests. We need anybody. Come on here. Be a guest. Love y'all.